The hardest thing about success, my dad taught me this a long time ago, is sustaining it over a long period of time. Beth has done that. Like each president before me, I aspired that Temple Beth would be better off when I finished my term than it was when I started. And like each president before me, I believe this turned out to be the case. Beth just keeps getting better and better. Over the past 2 years, we raised over $45 million for the Beyond the Curve campaign. We engaged 3 search committees, hired a new executive director, a new head of school, and a new senior cantor. We are almost finished with the construction of our state-of-the-art day school building, scheduled to open this fall. Actually, it's a full school building, a religious school building too. We reinvented ourselves using remote broadcast technology. We touched the lives of more congregants than ever before. And we studied and responded to COVID-19 to the point where we opened our day school without incident and with great success. There was not a single case of COVID-19, as my father said, transmitted among our students or our teachers or from our school grounds. I don't believe any Temple president can do this alone, and I know I did not. I work with incredibly talented and caring people, all full of passion and drive and great ideas. And I thank all of you for your support, your hard work, and your treasure. You have all given those things and more to Temple Beth. Special thanks to Rabbi Barris, Bob Hirsch, Brian Chartok, and David Young. Rabbi Barris, you lifted us up in the face of the crisis. It was you, not me. You built a remote programming model that was a beacon, not just for us, but for the country. And you saved our membership rolls in the process. Today, we are 1,600 member units or families, and we are growing. Special thanks to you and the entire clergy team. When times were so dark, when we were isolated and alone and closed off from each other and from everything, when there seemed to be no hope and fear and death were everywhere, you and your clergy team kept us focused on and committed to a better day ahead. And here it is. Thank you to the entire professional staff, to Sharon Levy for his unyielding vigilance, Rita Diaz for her infectious passion for people and developing our membership, and of course to Neil Littauer for being the backbone of our remote broadcasting system. Thank you to Rob Steinberg for teaching Zoom to all of us. Thank you, Bob Berkowitz, for delivering us a high-quality, High Holy Days broadcast. And thank you to past President Lily Serviansky for her unmatched leadership and guidance and friendship. For past President Joe Jacoby for leading 2 search committees. To Judge Scott Bernstein for co-chairing one of those. And thank you to Roman Krislov and Adrian Dubois for leading the other. To past Presidents Bill Grossman and Daniela Zenzuri for their friendship and their voices of wisdom. To Nora Anderson for accepting the job, doing a great job, and jumping right in the middle of a pandemic to start that job, no less. To Cantor Coyo for saying yes. To Cantor Nelson for 29 years of beautiful music, beautiful memories, and love. To all the members of all the search committees, to the entire executive committee, to the board of directors, and a very special shout out that I just gave to Josh Kay. To Alex Chris and the COVID-19 task force. To the doctors Kramer, Baker, and of course Ratzan. To John Kislak for his sage ideas and balanced wisdom. To Evelyn Greer for her tireless political and legal guidance on the building project. To Steve Pikowski and Ilana Gilat for their leadership and accomplishments in fundraising, and to Arno Carcenti for your fundraising prowess. You've been incredible, Arno. And to Howard Wolofsky for your contributions to all things aesthetic, whether it be the quality of our broadcasting, the details of the finishes on our school building, or even our logo. You have a keen eye, my friend. And of course, to Richard and Colleen Fain for their philanthropy, but also for their empathy, their vision, and their steady hands. To so many more of you. Oh, Elizabeth Biondo, I served with her. She was day school chair, so great. But to so many more of you, if I've forgotten you, I know you know who you are, and I love you, and I thank you. And I thank all of you. We had a lot to do, and we had more than our share of challenge. But we did what we had to. We continued to build relentlessly for our future. And there's more. We engaged our board. We had fun before they shut us down. We did creative things. New lay leaders emerged. We rediscovered and gained appreciation for our connection to Beth, our connection to Judaism, And even during COVID and the pandemic, with our WhatsApp friendship gratitude circle, our connection to each other. Together we grew, we achieved, and we left Betham better than we found it. And finally, I didn't think this would happen. On the topic of giving thanks, I thank my beautiful wife, Mickey. My kids too, but this is for Mickey. As a young lawyer, I remember being told the law is a jealous mistress. This expression is true because of the amount of hard work and time it takes to succeed in the practice of law. Well, Betham is an even more jealous and demanding mistress. But Mickey, you have been patient as my time and attention were diverted at all hours of the day and night. Countless phone calls, texts, and emails with Brian, the rabbi, management team, Lily, endless meetings and planning. The energy that might otherwise have been devoted to you and to our relationship was devoted instead to the needs of the congregation. Thank you, Mickey Ratzan. All of Temple Betham owes you a gratitude, a deep debt of gratitude, a hug, and for you, a beer. Now let me say a word about the pandemic. It was a huge challenge. There's no doubt about it. But somehow, in retrospect, it did not seem too difficult. We came together, made the decisions we had to make, and things worked out. So many people rose to the occasion, responding to the threat to our congregation. I mean, when the main function of a place is to congregate, and you can't do so, how do you survive? And yet we did it. Ironically, and thanks in part to Zoom and remote technology, I spent huge chunks of time at our second home in Breckenridge, Colorado, hiding from the virus in the mountain air. And despite that, and despite my obsession with avoiding COVID-19, wearing an N95 mask, talking to my father about every single detail of how you could get it, constant hand washing, somehow I contracted the virus while I was in Breckenridge, Colorado. Thank God I had a mild case and I recovered quickly without incident. I've since been vaccinated as well, and like many who are getting vaccinated, and while many around us are getting vaccinated, I feel liberated from most of my fear of that dreaded disease. After all we've been through, we are now at the doorstep of a brighter future. Our congregation is almost entirely vaccinated. So far, 100% of our attendees at Shabbat services are fully vaccinated. We have followed the CDC guidelines and relaxed mask requirements for fully vaccinated individuals. The future looks bright and hope abounds. On a personal note, over the last years, I had the privilege of working closely with Rabbi Barris and Brian Chartok. It was not all work. We enjoyed each other's company. We grew as friends. We studied Torah together. I strengthened my knowledge. I learned that you can read books by the greatest Jewish thinkers and intellectuals. You can read history. But there is no better and more authentic foundation for learning about Judaism than the study of Torah. In doing so, I discovered in black and white the moral teachings of our people and also the undeniable and ancient bond we have to the land of Israel. It is an indelible part of our peoplehood, our identity, and our liturgy because it is an indelible part of our Torah. During these turbulent times, it is comforting to learn and understand our eternal, past, present, and future connection to the land. No one can ever deprive us of that connection, even if they have separated us physically from her. Israel and Judaism are inextricably bound. She is ever present in our hearts and minds and has been for millennia. That is why attacks on our connection to Israel are attacks on our identity, on the essence of who we are as a people. I have learned that I am not afraid or ashamed of Jewish power, or of our difference, or of our exceptionalism, here in the United States or in Israel. I feel blessed to be a part of it. I believe we should never apologize for it, or for our accomplishments, or for what makes us special. This is an age of increasing and virulent anti-Semitism, from the extreme left wing's hostile antipathy for the existence of a Jewish state to the extreme right wing's Jew bashing. And yet, the majority of Americans are still moderates and are still made up of good people full of love more than hate. For their sake and ours, we should remember the words of the late Rabbi Jonathan Sacks. Non-Jews respect Jews who respect Judaism. And they are embarrassed by Jews who are embarrassed by Judaism. Or, in the ancient words of Hillel, and these words when I was a kid, maybe because Rabbi Baumgart put them there, but we stood and stared at them every single day, every day, all the years that I was in elementary school. In the words of Rabbi Hillel, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? In the next breath, we must be vigilant to insist on humility and with it an appropriate and balanced consideration for others. We must have compassion for others, other people, other religions, other cultures. Because if I am for myself alone, what am I? And these words of Hillel are words to live by today, immediately, and for all time. If not now, when? To me, Hillel's way is the Beth Am way, and it's what has always propelled us. I close with this, something I wrote in this month's commentator. I beg you, all of you, to always believe in Temple Beth Am. It will not disappoint you. Indeed, it will give back to you more than you give to it. It's just the way it is, it has been, and God willing, always will be. For almost the entirety of my life, I have drawn all of this from Temple Beth Am. It was an honor of a lifetime to give back my time and energy to this institution. And despite my intention to repay the debt, Beth Am continues to give back to me more than I can give to it. May it be so for all of you. Shalom, Toda Rabbah. Thank you very much.